right. Perfect. Hmm. How are you doing indeed? How are you doing? It's a pleasure to always be here just to ensure that everything works out well and works out perfect indeed. Blacksmith, how are you doing, Blacksmith? For those that are joining me on YouTube and on TikTok, Asanteni Sana for coming through. I appreciate your coming through indeed, and I don't take it for granted. So if you're watching me all the way from, you know, Kenya here, and you're watching me from Tanzania, Uganda, all East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, and also, do we have North, South, East, West? Yeah, all those parts, huh? Nairobi Dami, yeah, Pesh, Slim Shy, thank you so much for coming through. And also, I can see who is this Blacksmith. What's up, Blacksmith? Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate your efforts indeed. I can see Masam. I can see Masam. Thank you so much also for coming through. I appreciate your effort indeed. I don't take it for granted, Kabisa. I don't take it for granted. No, no worries, no worries. I'm just trying to make sure that I arrange everything and put everything in order. So for those that are joining me all the way kwa YouTube, asanteni sana. Tujukwe Gerald, Redemptor Mbinya. Thank you so much. Beatrice Okumu, Apollo Kioria. What's up, Apollo Kioria? What a name. That's a good name. Redemptor Mbinya, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate your efforts to just come and tune in. Asanteni sana. It's Friday. It's Friday. And I know every Friday, most of us are going out to just enjoy. It's a weekend for most of us. But I just want to say welcome indeed. If you're watching me live on TikTok, I just want to say it's an amazing affair indeed that you guys are here. Beth Kak, is it Beth Kick? Is it Kick or Quick? Beth Kick. Magimi, asante sana for coming through. Nyambura Munyi, asante sana. Thank you for joining and being a part of this conversation indeed. And I don't take it for granted. I'm also live on YouTube. You can check me out on Salim Cyrus Connect. And one of the things that I keep on trying to do is to make sure that we all get a space that we can learn and delve into something that is very constructive. May, is it Waithera ND? Asante sana for your participation. User 815881611756. Asante sana. If you're joining for the very first time, remember, in this very platform, we talk about understanding spirituality and understanding, the marketplace, and also we talk about relationship issues. So on Tuesdays, we mostly tackle relationship issues, and marriage. We also tackle various issues on, getting to understand who you are as a person. So it's very important that we get to learn. Where I am, it's because of learning, and I'm happy because I'm here also to dispense this truth so that you can also benefit. And I just want to say thank you, guys. Ruth from Seoul, how are you doing? Eli, Sheena at Trons 124. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate indeed. Nerea Acheng, Nerea, Nerea. I thought Nerea was, was just in a song. So Nerea was a name. Thank you. Is it Shash Triplet or Shush Triplet? Shash Triplet. Thank you so much for coming through. The Charlie's F. Charlie's F. I can't just see the whole name here because of my probably my gadgets. But all in all, I just want to say I appreciate your intentions to be a part of this conversation. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on every Tuesday and every Friday from 8 p.m. East African time. That is 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. East African time. Always here trying to put everything in order. So I just want to say thank you. If you're watching me, I just want to say thank you once again. Rezayan Linda, Rezayan or Ratian Linda, thank you so much for coming through. Yes, indeed. So I don't want to waste much time. Remember, if you also want to learn more from what I'm doing, please, you can go to my website, www.salimcyrus.com, www.salimcyrus.com. Please go to that platform and you're going to learn. And for those that join me on my TikTok channel, I have a few videos that I've done. And by the way, today I uploaded a video. It's a documentary I did, a 16-minute documentary. And I just want to say thank you for those guys that took time to watch it. And there's more to come. I just had to do it. You know, I never thought of doing such a thing, but I had to make sure that I just bring something out. I hope it came out as expected. So it's on my channel. You can just check it out. And let me get your reviews on that and also get your thoughts on that, and many more to come indeed. Jerry underscore Jen, Simon Mr. underscore me 254, Iron Lady, and Nas underscore Kitchen. Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate indeed. It's always a pleasure. Simon, asante sana for coming through. So the topic of today, it's on Friday, but I don't want to waste your time with so many words and so many thoughts on, many other things. I know maybe probably some of you are just having your good time in this moment, but please just let's do this and make sure that we do it intentionally to bring the truth into perspective. Souls underscore KE, Jennifer, Home Top, BBY Ramla. Is it Baby Ramla or BBY Ramla? Thank you so much. I go by the name Salim Cyrus. For those that don't know me, those are my government names. Salim Cyrus. Those are my government names. I'm an author. I'm a thought leader. Some of you call me life coach. But all in all, what matters is when your life is transformed, it's the best thing ever indeed. So I appreciate. Naomi, thank you. Sandy underscore Lucky 254, welcome indeed. Today I want to talk about the inner dominion, conscience, power, and the rebellion against a programmed world. I want to talk about the inner dominion, which is about conscience, power, and the rebellion against a programmed world. I repeat, the inner dominion, conscience, power, and the rebellion against a programmed world. Please, if you've tuned in, don't touch that dial. Be a part of this conversation, and I'm telling you, your mind is going to be opened, and your mind is just going to have something at the end of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity, first of all, to begin by ensuring that we have a better place of understanding who we are as a people. You know, one of the things that has made us deviate our attention to the truth that was already placed in our lives is number one, religion. Number two, politics. The reason why you and we cannot function in the truth, it's because of number one, religion and politics. The politicians have understood the dimensions of the world. The politicians have understood how the system functions. But the problem with the majority, the citizens, the normal people, the problem with them is that they've not taken time to gain knowledge to understand how the system functions. And that is why corrupt leaders, corrupt politicians, corrupt people will keep on doing whatever they are doing, because at the end of the day, it is all about trying to prove that they can provide solutions. But at the end of the day, what does politics do? Politics only provide systems whereby you and I can keep on depending on them. And that is why no politician and no government in the world will ever provide a sustainable solution for its people. What politicians do, they only promise, but they never fulfill. And it is the same with religion. Religion promises, but it never fulfills. Why? Because people have not understood how the system functions. So if you're joining me, we are talking about the inner dominion, conscience, power, and the rebellion against a programmed world. That is what we are talking about. So it is quite unfortunate what we are seeing in the world. And that is why what governments and institutions of the world have done, they've created what we call dependency. They've created what we call dependency. And that is why, based on how the world has been programmed, you and I, we were made to believe that employment is the platform that can make us wealthy. But the other day I was learning about employment, and I dug deep into this reality. And there was this lady who I was talking to, and she was telling me the reason why employment was created is that there should be or there will be what we call dependency. And that is why you and I, especially those people who are employed, we depend on governments, depend on our employers and all that, based on what they give to us. Because our idea is to go to school, get these documents, and then we go out and look for a job. And then we get a job so that we can be paid based on what we do. And it is quite unfortunate. So in order for us to come out of this ideology, we need to understand and get to function on what will program us to understand how the system functions. FK, John Gogi, thank you so much. Aurel, thank you so much for joining. So the world system in itself is not neutral. It is engineered. That is one thing we have to understand. It is not neutral. It is engineered. It is engineered to make people believe that solutions are going to be provided for them to have a better way of doing things. Quite unfortunate indeed. But I want to make it clear to each one of us, my dear brothers and sisters, that for us to have a better understanding, we should know who we are from within. Quite unfortunate. I don't want to mention this place that is in Kenya, but do you know there's a place in Kenya that is high in illiteracy? The people in that area, they are so illiterate that the government uses it to fool people and to make them believe that something new is going to come into their world. But it is quite unfortunate. What do I mean? The world in itself, or the world system, like I've said, it is not neutral. It is engineered. Today I was just having a conversation with this gentleman, and we were talking about beginning businesses. And I think I've ever shared this here. The problem with so many people is that they depend on that which will come. But it is quite unfortunate. Whatever the system has done, it has made you believe that you need something to begin something. And they've told you that you need money to begin something. But let me deconstruct that ideology and that information that was distorted from beginning. And let me make it clear. When you get to understand what the term capital means, because the word capital is beyond money, but the system has made you think that capital is money. But one, you have to understand, capital is not money, and it has never been money. From the beginning, it has never been money. But your system told you that capital is the money that you need to begin a business. Let me tell you what capital is. So I was just studying about capital and I got to understand in Latin it means caput. It means caput, which is translated capitas. Capitas translated again knowledge. So the word capital is not money. The word capital, it is knowledge in Latin. So when I grasped that reality, I began to break free from religion and politics, from how the system of the world functions, from how it does things, from how it manipulates its own people to make them believe that they will become better. Ask yourself a question. Disturb your mind for a minute. How is it a president of a certain country is paid almost 2 million Kenyan shillings, inclusive of the other monies that is required, 2 million Kenyan shillings. But at the end of the day, this man will be declared a billionaire. Do you know why? It is because this person is in the system and now he understands how the system functions. And now he can begin to manipulate its own people to make them think that they can get whatever they want and become whoever they wish. But the reality is, the system will hide it from you because the system does not want you to become. So religion and politics, a tool that has been used for so many years. And that is why the other day I sat down, especially during COVID 19. I repeat, during COVID 19. So during that time, I learned a lot of things and I broke free from religion. I broke free from depending on politicians. And today I have become a better person. Why? Whatever you need in this world, you have to ensure that there is a pattern that you follow. And that pattern is always God-driven. It is not a pattern that is provided by the system. It is a natural ability within a man. A natural ability within a man. Let me read something here. The world system is not neutral. It is engineered. It rewards conformity, numbs conscience, and commodifies identity. That is what the system does, my brothers and sisters. The system rewards conformity and numbs conscience and also commodifies identity. My brothers and sisters, if you look at that statement, you'll begin to think deep. And that is why I cry every other time, not with tears, when I get to see people intentionally following a certain religion, thinking that God is in that religion. Quite unfortunate. Who is this God that you need to cry to every other day, every day morning? I used to do that. Every morning I used to wake up and cry and calling out on this God, worshiping God and lifting my hands and doing whatever. Am I an atheist? No. But let me tell you, the Bible tells us that the children of the world are waiting for the sons to be revealed. The children of the world are waiting for sons to be revealed. My dear brother, I want to make it clear to you that you are the son in the kingdom. You are the son in the kingdom. Irrespective of who you are, where you come from, it doesn't matter. All that matters is for you to understand that the purpose you were created for is to manifest God. You were created to manifest God. And that is why today I want to talk and make it clear to you in the next, it's already 2023, but in the next 1 hour and a few minutes, I'll be done to ensure that you grasp this reality. So, yet within man lies an ungoverned territory, spirit conscience, and divine imprint. What follows are 10 confrontational truths, and that is what I'll be talking about. And I want to make sure that these very 10 confrontational truths are anchored in your very heart to make sure that you begin to see the truth. Point number one. Let me go to point number one. Point number one. The system trains you to fit in, not to stand out. The system trains you to fit in, not to stand out. Ladies and gentlemen, I began by telling you, don't look for money to begin a business. Look for capital, which is knowledge. Capital is knowledge, not money. Seek for it. Study how the system functions. And in that moment, you'll begin to see yourself have some dominion in whatever you want to achieve. So, what the system does, it trains you to fit in, not to stand out. So, what do I mean once again, my brothers? How is it a president of a nation will come with a project and say affordable housing? And then young people will be employed in this project seasonally, not permanently. Because no government provides us a solution permanently. I'm telling you, no government, no religion will ever provide a solution permanently. And that is why in religion, you know, the people they mention, for example, Jesus himself, to so many people, he has become a product. We sell Jesus, we sell heaven, and then people can begin to raise their holy hands, worship God, and they will be giving out their money and doing whatever they are doing. But they will never, religion will never tell you that the God you've been seeking all along is inside of you. That is what religion will not tell you. When you go into the book of Luke chapter 17, Luke chapter 17 verse 20 to 21, it simply tells us, and Jesus is answering people, and that is why I love Jesus, because of one thing. He never began any religion. Jesus was not a Christian, number one, and Jesus did not begin Christianity. That is one thing that you need to understand. It is religious people who came about with Christianity because they knew out of this we can create wealth, we can manipulate people, we can teach people to be dependent on us. And that is why people go to Bible schools. They want to be preachers because they know they've understood it. And let me tell you, all the preachers in the world that you see, all these preachers, whatever they are doing, all of them, I'm talking about the bishops, the pastors, and all that, they should not lie to you that God spoke to them. Every desire to preach or every need to preach comes from a desire. The Bible tells us in the book of 1 Timothy, I think 1 Timothy or 2 Timothy chapter 5, somewhere there, it tells us that whoever desires to be a bishop, whoever desires to be a teacher, desires a noble task. So being a preacher, it is not a calling. Being a preacher is a desire. It is a desire. If you want to teach, it comes from desiring. Not everyone can teach, but some of you can teach. Those are gifts. Some of us cannot give out their lives to go into the battlefield, but others can do it. It comes from within. It is a gift that is beyond what we all see. What do I mean with that? So who you are as a person, you are created for this moment. And there's no gift of the devil, but that which comes from God. The devil himself cannot give humanity any gift. I'm telling you. The enemy, the devil, cannot give you any gift. It is only God. What we do, we only subscribe to what is evil, and we begin to lose ourselves in the process, and we begin to do things that are not tangible or not profound to what is in alignment with what God has desired for his own people. So the system will train you to fit in. And that is why most of you, what you don't know, you go out and you go to government institutions, and then you say, I'm going to take, what do we call these things, these projects, attender, I'm going to take attender. Attender is not an investment. That is not an investment. And I want to let you know, brothers and sisters, the only way you can break free from all these things, you need to learn who you are. And I'm telling you, you were created not to expose that which does not exist. Because that which does not exist does not exist. You are created to manifest that which is already in existence inside of you. I can see Miss Talia CSG saying hi, hey to you. So everything that you're looking for is inside of you. Are you looking for, do you really want to become something great in this life? It has always been inside of you, my dear brothers and sisters. The problem is you are so focused into what that doesn't have sense. Miss Talia, it is okay. Welcome. So the system only tells you that you need to fit in, but you don't need to expose who you are. So the world celebrates adaptation, but heaven calls for transformation. Where is heaven? Heaven is inside of you. Heaven is not in the skies. Heaven is inside of you. Talia, we're talking about the inner dominion. The inner dominion, conscience, power, and the rebellion against a programmed world. So heaven is inside of you, my dear brothers. Stop looking for heaven outside of yourself. Heaven does not exist outside of yourself. Where Christ is heaven. Where is God? God is inside of you. So where is heaven? Heaven is inside of you. When you go into the dictionaries, you're going to get to see that the meaning of heaven has two of its kind. One, the expanse of the sky, the stars, that is heaven. And then number two, heaven means a religious place where religious people think they will go. And that is quite wrong. There is nowhere you and I will be going. We exist in the reality that was created and fashioned by God. So brothers and sisters, I want you to understand that the only way you can become, it is also about you being yourself. Don't live a life like how others live. Don't be like others. Be simple. Be realistic. Be yourself. And that is the only way you'll become. Do you know there are people who can do great things, like when it comes to businesses? I've seen companies, they market their businesses, they do things, but they never achieve their goals. Why? Because when it is not in your ground, when it is not in your purpose, it never comes to accomplishment. It only means that you can do it good, you can do it better, but it can never become what it is required to become, because you are forcing it. You want people to know that you can do it. But let me tell you, there are people that are working in a certain level, but they're achieving everything and they're working into what has been aligned with purpose. So the world celebrates adaptation, and that is why I tell people, stop adapting or getting into what that does not bring purpose. What do? You are adapting yourself into what many people are trying to do. And that is why I get to feel bad because of how people do it. You begin a business here, and then someone else comes and does a business next to you, the same business that you're doing, because of competition and all that. So one thing you also need to understand, that the system reward compliance because awakened individuals disrupt control. System rewards compliance. Like I said earlier, what governments, what religious institutions do, they create a platform for dependency. Brothers and sisters, what all these things or institutions do, they create a platform for dependency. They want you and I to depend on them. And that is why dependency has unalived or taken many lives of many people, because people are losing that essence of become. Quite unfortunate. So systems reward compliance because awakened individuals disrupt control. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Remember, this is not a religious platform. This is a kingdom platform, kingdom-minded people. So Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And let me read something here. And this verse, I was sharing it with a friend of mine some time back, and he was telling me, you know, it is about sin. And I saw how silly some people can be, because people don't want to learn. People don't want to get into the depth of the matter. And that is why it is important to be very informed in such things. You know, the verse talks and tells us, do not be conformed to this world or to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So people tend to think that this verse talks about sin, you know, sexual immorality and all that. The world has some kind of pattern that it follows. Do you know why people are sinning? And do you know that you don't sin against God? All sin is against yourself. The sin that you see, it is against yourself. When Jesus came into the world, he did not come to die just because he wanted to take your sins away. The greatest sin was ignorance. People did not understand, you know, the freedom that they had. And I love Jesus because he presented to us so that we can be able to understand that we have the freedom. And this freedom is not abused. And your preacher will not tell you this. Let me tell you one thing. You don't need to dress in a certain way so that God can see you holy. You don't need to cover your head, cover your hair to appear holy. You don't need to wear a long gown and look it so that you can look holy, and a certain cape so that you can look holy. No. I want to let you know that God lives inside of you. God lives inside of you. We all say that God is holy. So if God is holy, how come he chose that he should live inside of you? Yet you claim to be a sinner. I want you to understand. Today I just posted something and I said, water does not make anyone clean. It is your conscience. Water does not make you clean. It is your conscience. It is your mind that tells you that you're physically clean, spiritually clean, you know, mentally clean. It is your mind. If you tell yourself that you're dirty, then you're dirty. If you tell yourself that you're clean, then you're clean. So do not be conformed to the patterns. It means how the system does its thing, how the system functions. And I want to tell you, my dear brothers, you are born in this time and in this moment to structure yourself into something that will elevate you to a greater calling. And that is why today I am here to tell you, it is not by mistake that you're listening to me. Whatever you've been looking for the rest of your life rests inside of you. Whatever you've been seeking for the last 20 years, for the last 10 years, I'm telling you, all those things, they're inside of you. And don't look at yourself as a failure. You did not fail. It only means it couldn't happen. Wake up, stand up, and focus once again, and everything will fall into place. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "A man who won't die for something is not fit to live." A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. What are the risks that you want to make in this life? What intention do you have to get it right in this life? The other day we heard the young people, the Gen Zs, they demonstrated. It was a powerful demonstration, and people saw it as something that has no purpose. But let me tell you one thing, brothers and sisters. It is only those who dare to rise above the horizon, become a better people in society. What are the risks that you want to make? Remember, purpose demands friction. Purpose demands friction, my dear brothers and sisters. You want to get it right? Then you need to push yourself into that level of greatness. So number one, we were talking about the system trains you to fit in, not to stand out. The system wants to steal your ability to become. The system wants to steal your way of thinking. And the system does not want you to think. It wants you to depend on them. Point number two. Point number two. If you're joining, we are talking about, the inner dominion. That is what we're talking about. Conscience, power, and the rebellion against a program world. So point number two, I want to talk about education without revelation produces intelligent slaves. Education without revelation introduces or produces intelligent slaves. We have to understand that one thing in this world, the system told us that education is the key to success. Brothers and sisters, education is not the key to success. We have so many people uneducated, and they have the best of life in the world. Am I trying to say that illiteracy is the best way to go? No. All I'm saying is an educated man needs to have a revelation of what education is. And that is why I began with the word capital. It is important to capitalize in knowledge. To capitalize in knowledge. So if you want to have something that is of structure, you have to capitalize on knowledge, because knowledge is fundamental. Knowledge is very crucial, my dear brothers and sisters. It is the only way it can benefit you, it can raise you, it can take you to greater heights. So, modern learning sharpens the mind, but often starves the spirit. And that is why you get to see governments introducing, certain kinds of education systems whereby our children need to go through. But they do not feed the spirit man, because the spirit man has a better way of understanding spirit discerned things that can enable him to become better. And that is why most people are not getting it right. The other day I was just doing my morning, walking, so that I can, can be fit and all that. Every morning, from Monday to Thursday, I always walk. But do I say 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, sometimes 7.5 kilometers, just to see myself get better? I was bigger than this. And today I'm just reducing day by day, and I'm feeling healthier every other day. What do I mean with that? You have to take responsibility with yourself. You can't just be sitting down and waiting to be healthy. Health needs you to work on it. Wealth needs you to work on it. What do I mean? The modern day education, it's all about feeding the mind, but not revealing the man or the person behind the mind. So the system will never reveal who you are. So the children of today are going to learn great things, but it will never reveal who they are. It will never reveal because the system doesn't want you to know who you are. That is what the system doesn't want. But one of the things that happens is that information without truth, it will always create what we call sophisticated bondage. Sophisticated bondage. And I read from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 19. The wisdom of this world is foolishness before God. The wisdom of this world is foolishness before God. You know so much about engineering. You know so much about real estate. You know so much about, selling clothes and all that. But you know nothing about who you are. You keep on defending what you think you know, but you don't defend who you are. And that is why in the process we lose ourselves. And that is why people are difficult. When you tell them that you need to come out of this so that you can begin to see who you are, people tend to defend themselves in the process. So the wisdom of this world is foolishness before God. Why is it? So the spirit man has a discernment that enables him now to adapt into the truth that is, that is very divine. But many people are not willing to grasp that reality. And that is why the spirit man will always be hungry, not satisfied. The spirit man will never be satisfied. Because at the end of the day, it is all about focusing on what is not tangible. So the wisdom of this world is foolishness before God. Brothers and sisters, what am I saying? True intelligence begins where divine insight interrupts human logic. True intelligence begins where divine insight interrupts human logic. I know most of us, we are so wise in our own ways. We are capable of doing great things in our own ways. But I want you to understand that human ideologies, human substance, human plans, sometimes they never fall into place because it is always about us. It is not about the change that we want to bring into the lives of the people out there. And I want to tell you one thing, brothers, that you need to have a revelation of who you are in the process, to begin to understand the perspectives of how life should be. There are people that will teach you things, and they're teaching you because, they're trying to correct you all the time to show you that you're not doing it better, because at the end of the day, it is about them trying to prove that they know it all. But the truth is they don't know it all. We know nothing. Trust me, we know nothing. What you know is only limited to your knowledge. What you know is only limited to your knowledge. And that is why we are all diverse in our own capacity. And there's an information you're going to give to me and I look stupid. Why? Because we are all knowledgeable in our own ways. And that is why, dear brothers and sisters, it is important to walk in revelation. This is not about you being a Christian. It is not about you being a Muslim. It is not about you being a Buddhist. It is not about you being a religious person. It is about you being a human being, and you need to walk in revelation. Thank you, Carrie Jones. And I want you to understand that there's a wisdom that surpasses human understanding. It is a wisdom that reveals who we are as a people. And we need to structure ourselves into that reality. I've hung around various people, and they have their way of expressing things and doing it the way they think it is right. But we are all different. The way I'm talking, probably some of you cannot talk. Whatever I'm saying, how I'm speaking, probably some of you cannot articulate the way I am. And I'm telling you, there are better people who can do it better than me. But you know what? Whatever I'm doing, it is in my capacity, and I will do it. Why? Because at the end of the day, I can only articulate what I'm articulating right now differently and in a unique way. And that is why it is important, my brothers and sisters, for you not to be scared about anything. Whatever you want to do, I want to challenge you today. You need to do it scared. Do it scared. Don't be afraid to do you. Don't be afraid to get to see the potentials you carry. Do you. Jump on what is productive. Prove yourself in the moment, because at the end of the day, you have no one to prove anything to but yourself. So let us go to point number 3. Let us go to point number 3. The system rewards image, but God searches intention. The system rewards image. You look at what the system does. Platforms elevate perception. You see the celebrities that we have in the world? They're there to provide a certain kind of perception, to make you think that they're the wealthiest. But they've understood the system. And that is why people who've understood the system, you'll not find them in religion. Some of them, look at the gospel musicians we used to have back in the days. They are no longer singing gospel music. Look at the Muslims that used to bow down and worship God and whatever. Most of these Muslims, they are no longer Muslims because they've realized religion is a fallacy. And religion carries no God at all. And I'm telling you, religion is a formality without God. So platforms will always elevate perception, trying to make you think that you can have certain way of becoming, certain ways of, living a certain kind of life and all that. And that is why it is very crucial for each one of us to function on what is productive. So what is that which is productive? It is understanding how the system works, understanding how everything is. Remember, platforms will always elevate perception, create an idea to you. Yet God evaluates the unseen motives of the heart. What God does, He evaluates the unseen intentions, the motives of the heart. And that is why I told you earlier, you need to break free from religion and break free from politics, because those are government tools to manipulate the mass. Government tools. Someone comes and tells you that you need to be clean here on earth so that you can go to heaven. Someone comes and tells you that you need to bow down and worship God so that you can go to heaven. Someone comes and tells you that you need to dress in a certain way to express yourself as holy before God. Let me tell you, God is not after those things. Those are just man-made ideas, protocols to make you think that when you do that, they are only protocols to satisfy your conscience. Those are just protocols to satisfy your conscience, I'm telling you. But the reality is, you don't need all those kinds of protocols. You don't need all those kinds of protocols. You need yourself. You need yourself. So, brothers and sisters, what do I mean? The purpose of this world is to be in a very particular position that now you can begin to see yourself have something that is of substance. 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And that is why every other day I tell people, please dress to be impressed, dress to impress. Because man will always look at the outward appearance. Is it a bad thing? No, it is not a bad thing. I will look at how you dress. I will look at how you do things. Look at how you portray yourself from outside. Because we are human beings. And that is what we do. But God, in his divine nature, he looks at the intents of the heart, because now God can see beyond physicality. God can see beyond how we are in the physical. So remember, a curated life can deceive the world, but never God. The world can look so perfect. You as a human being, you can appear to be so perfect, so beautiful, and so looking wonderful. And that is why you get to see that most ladies in the world, a bigger percentage of them beautiful, with a beautiful curved body. Most of these ladies are empty debes. They have nothing to offer to the world. And that is why most of these ladies, you'll find them on social platforms. The only gift they can give to the world, it is to shake their behind, shake their nyash, do whatever they can do. At the end of the day, they are only revealing how silly they can be, how silly they can be. And that is why most of the time, a bigger percentage of the men we see in the world, they are committed to sanity. Brothers and sisters, I want to let you know that we are living in a world that we need to be intentional about everything. You know, today I was just watching TV for a few minutes, and I just opened YouTube and I was just watching, and I met with this news of one famous guy by the name Chuck Norris, an actor, an American actor, Chuck Norris. And I remembered back in the years I used to watch Chuck Norris when I was a young boy. And Chuck Norris was my hero at some point. I could watch his movies, beat those people, you know, boxing them, kicking them, and doing all those things. And then now today, Chuck Norris is no more. Chuck Norris is no more. And then I realized that it was Chuck Norris' day to pass away, to die. Your time and my time are coming. I'm telling you, your time and my time are coming. Do you know one day you're not going to be around? We are not going to be around for long. We are not going to be around this world for long. I'm telling you the truth. So stop bragging about what you can do. And that is why it is so funny when I get to see people. Look at the government officials. Walking around with bodyguards and doing all those things, trying to portray a certain kind of picture. But let me tell you, that is just but for a moment. It is for show-offs and all those things. But remember, I love what Miles Monroe said, the late Miles Monroe. I want to die empty. I want to die empty. When people look at you, what do they see? What do they see? Who do they see? Not what even, but who do they see? When people look at you, who do they see? Ask yourself that question. You only think that you're impacting, but you're disrupting. You might think that you are elevating, but you're going down. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for us to structure ourselves into a reality that has been enabled not by us but by divine, be divine nature and all that. Let us go to point number 4 to make it even clear. I'm only remaining with a few minutes, and then I'll call it a night. So point number 4. Comfort is the system's sedative against purpose. Comfort is the system's sedative against purpose. So what do I mean with this? The system feeds convenience to kill calling. The system feeds convenience to kill calling. What the system does, it gives promises. In the next 5 days, we are going to build this. In the next 10 weeks, we are going to build that. But the system will never provide a permanent solution. Is numbs urgency. Is numbs urgency. Matthew 16:24 says, deny yourself, take up your cross. So whatever you want to achieve in this world, my brother and my sister, you need to deny yourself, because greatness demands friction. Greatness demands friction. And you need to be very intentional indeed. You need to pursue this reality. You need to be very focused. You need to break free from ideologies, purposed by religion and politics. Those are the things that you need to choose and to focus on. Have you ever seen these people who run away from their families? Because their families are very toxic. Their parents who are toxic and all that. And what do? They kill the ambition of the child. They kill the ambition of its people. That is what systems do. And that is why, brothers and sisters, what I really want to make you understand is that you need to break free from this incompetence, from this perspective that does not assure the reality of becoming. You get what I'm trying to say? So Elon Musk said one thing: constantly think about how you could be doing things better. Constantly think about how you can do things better. Most of you don't do things better because you don't think about it. You only think about dependency. Tomorrow you want to wake up early so that you can go to work, not even work, to your job. Because work is the gift that God has given you. A job is what you do to get paid. A work comes from revelation that has been divinely put inside of you, but most people don't see it and don't understand. Topic of another day. So growth in itself demands comfort. Demands comfort. Growth demands in fact, growth demands discomfort, not demands comfort. It demands discomfort. Don't be comfortable where you are. Don't be comfortable, brothers. Don't be comfortable at all. Chase what is valuable. Don't be comfortable. What do you want to achieve? You are so comfortable because you're being paid 250,000 per month. What kind of money is that? 250? You're so comfortable because you're being paid 500,000. You're so comfortable because you're being paid 1 million. No, come on, that is little money. There are people who are making 1 million shillings per day. There are people who are making 250,000 shillings per day. Ask me. There are people who are making, 152 million. Come on. Stop depending on people to pay you. To pay you at the end of the month. Because your boss will never pay you to be his neighbor. The people that are paying you monthly, they will never pay you enough. They will only pay you so that you can depend on them. So that every month you can keep on going back to them. Keep on going back to them. Brothers and sisters, you will lose yourself in the process. And you will not see the reality of life. And that is why I hate this idea of people saying, I have retired. I have retired. You've worked for the government for the last 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and then have retired. What have you retired from? From depending on government to pay you every month? Come on. Stop it, brothers and sisters. You need to create opportunities for yourself. Opportunities that will make you see you enjoy life. You are retiring so that you can go back to the up country and have something and stay there, now waiting to die. What kind of a life is that? What kind of a life is that? Brothers and sisters. So you have to constantly think about how you could be doing things better. And that is why you'll begin to walk on greater platforms and greater revelations of what you're supposed to become. My dear sisters and brothers, let me go to point number 5. For those that are joining, we're talking about, talking about the dominion or the inner dominion. So let us go to point number 5. Point number 5. I'm only remaining with 27 minutes. 27 minutes and I'll be done. So point number 5. The system glorifies independence, but man was designed for divine dependence. I love this. You know, I was talking about depending on government, but there's a twist here. The system glorifies independence, but man was designed for divine dependence. So, what do I mean? Self sufficiency is idolized. Self sufficiency is idolized. Yet true power flows from alignment with God. True power flows from alignment with God. This is not a Christian message. This is not a Christian message. I'll be using the Bible here, but this is not a Christian message. This is a human message. And I want you to understand that whatever message I'm bringing here is to make you understand the intentions of God for humanity. These are sermons that your preachers will not tell you. These are sermons that your teacher or your preacher will not speak to you about, because they don't want to get into the depth of the matter, what we call exegesis. You know, there's exegesis and eisegesis. Exegesis it's all about getting into the depth of the matter. And then eisegesis, it's all about your mind, logic, human understanding. And your preachers will never speak about this because they want you to depend on them. Oh, I want to tell you that God. No, let me tell you, the same God that is inside your pastor, inside your bishop, inside your prophet and whatever you call them, that same God is inside of you. The problem is your preacher has not revealed that reality to you. The problem, you've not come to understanding who you are as a person. Brothers and sisters, I hate to see many people losing their ability to think. And that is why I was listening to this great mind, P.L.O. Lumumba, and he was speaking and saying, Africans need to be colonized once again. And what I'm doing right now, I'm decolonizing us from mental slavery. And that is why it is important for you and I now to come to a perspective that will reveal the realities of God. Come on, brothers and sisters. I want you to understand one thing, that you are created for a greater purpose. You are created for a greater cause. You are created so that you can reveal the intentions of God in this world. Goitui, you're saying hi from your old primary school friend, Mike Hawk. Oh, Goitui. I think I need to look for you. Please DM me. We can talk more, brother. All the way from primary. That is awesome, bro. That is awesome. Mike Hawk. Please DM me. DM me. DM me indeed. We need to have a talk, brother. Yeah, we need to catch up on those old memories. So the system glorifies independence. It is all about creating an idea that does not exist to make you lose your way of thinking and your way of becoming. So, brothers and sisters, once again, I want to make it clear to you that you are born with a power that is beyond human understanding, and it is inside of you. And the evidence of that reality, it is God who lives inside of you. You don't need to be a Christian to experience God. You don't need to be a Muslim to experience God, or an Islam to experience God. No, you don't need all that. Let me drag this puzzle. You don't need that. You don't need to be a Buddhist. You don't need to be in all these religions to experience God. You don't need to be a Christian. Once again, you don't need to be a Christian to experience Jesus and God himself. You don't need to be. You just need to walk in the revelation of who God is. And let me tell you, once you break free from religion, the devil stops following you. Once you break free from religion, the devil runs away from you. I tell you. So, John chapter 15, verse 5 in the Amplified, apart from me, you can do nothing. So, it is God who will enable you to become whatever you desire. I can see last hour saying, yes, it is very true, yes. And I can see, so 1717, beautiful pic in the background. Thank you so much, so I appreciate. Last hour, thank you so much. So God is inside of you. So apart from you, you can do nothing. So there is a divine power within humanity. There's a divine power within you that can bring every detail into perfection. You know, the other day, we were just taking images, taking photos with a beautiful young lady, and we were just walking out and about and taking those photos. And I tell you, this young lady, you know, ladies are very detailed, looking for perfection and all that. And I was telling her, you know, in what is imperfect, that is where perfection is found. That is being artistic. So stop seeking for perfection. It is only divine order that will help you to see things that you've never thought. But as long as you're human, everything is in perfect order. And everything will align to how you position yourself. Everything will align to how you position yourself. Let me give you an example. During COVID-19, you know, I lost everything. I lost everything. And I went to live in the second largest slum in the world. That is Kibera or Kibra. Almost 3, 4, 4, 5 years ago, I went and lived there. I stayed there for, I think, 1 year, and let me tell you, it was hell. I was in that place, but my mind was not in that place. I was in that place physically, but my mind was not in that place. I did not allow myself to function as one of that place. Because that place can tell you it is okay to be where you are. That place can teach you and talk to you and tell you it is okay. You can rise and enjoy yourself in this place. But let me tell you, my brothers, don't allow yourself to be comfortable where you think you are. Stop being comfortable with the salary you're being paid. Stop being comfortable by, you know, your wife dressing funny clothes and all that. Take your wife for shopping, at least to dress sexy, you know. My sister, stop, you know, being comfort with your husband, just doing it the same way. Be exciting, my sister, you know. Be fun, be fun. Come on, it is life. Enjoy it. And don't be comfortable with the very place you're in for the rest of your life. Change your way of thinking, and everything around you will begin to change. I'm telling you. So the system will glorify independence. Oh, I'm independent. And that is why you get to see ladies all the time. They're the ones who praise themselves. I am an independent. For men, we've been independent for the longest time. But when a lady becomes independent, it is news. Independent woman. Independent. For what? What for? Why are you glorifying yourself, my sister? Why are you glorifying yourself? Why are you doing that? Because you are independent, because you can earn money for yourself. Men have been earning money for the rest of your lives. It is not news. Come on. We had our mothers who used to go to farms and do crazy things. We had our mothers who used to go to the marketplace, who used to go to, I remember my mom, who used to go out and sell clothes so that we had a good life indeed. She did her best to have the best in this life. Come on, brothers and sisters. You know what I'm talking about. So apart from me, that is John 15:5, apart from me, you can do nothing. So we have to remember that it is God who helps us. There's a verse that I love. It is God who gives us the wisdom or the knowledge or the ability to make wealth. It is God. We cannot do it by ourselves. So the autonomy without God is slow distraction disguised as strength. Autonomy without God is slow distraction disguised as strength. So who is God? I want to answer you today, who is God? Remember, God is not what you think and what you've been thinking. Remember, God is just a title. It is like it can mean a president or a king. That is what God means. So, sorry about that. Who is God? Who is God? This is the revelation of God. I'm not a Christian, but a believer in Christ. And this is what I know. The revelation of God is in Christ Himself. The revelation of God is in Christ Himself. So Christ comes and tells us, John chapter 17, verse 20 to 21, the kingdom of God is within you. So stop looking for heaven somewhere in the sky. So if you want to experience God, you have to understand that God already was inside of you. Last hour, thank you so much for that. I believe in Christ too. So the beauty is to understand this idea and coming to that knowledge and pursuing this reality by now understanding that everything that we look for every day settles in our hearts. And we need to pursue that reality. It is by revelation. It is by revelation, my brothers and sisters. So God exists in us. How? By the revelation of who Christ is. So Christ comes and tells us, God lives inside of you. Topic of another day. And I'm going to go deeper with that. Next Friday, please meet me. I'm going to go deeper. The God within. I'm going to be speaking about the God within. That is the topic of next Friday. So let me go to point number 6. I'm remaining with only 15 minutes and then I'll be done, my dear brothers and sisters. So point number 6, conscience is being silenced by culture. Conscience is being silenced by culture. So the loudest voice today is not truth. It is trend. It is trend. So someone will come here on TikTok and speak about something and then it's going to trend. YouTube, Facebook, all social platforms. And they will speak about these things. And then what will happen? It will trend. And people will try to follow that trend. I read a quote some years back, and I loved that quote. And it said, don't follow what is based on fashion, because fashion only comes for only happens in a moment. Fashion only happens in the moment. But what is lasting is what is profound. I'm telling you, what is lasting, it is what is profound. Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you one thing, that the only way for each one of us to exist, it's all about now clearing our conscience and coming now to the truth. It is quite unfortunate because do you know you cannot teach poor people? Do you know why you cannot teach poor people? Do you know you cannot teach poor people? You can't. I'm talking about poor people. Those people who lack finances, those people who lack, those people who lack knowledge, finances, good lifestyle, those people, most of the time, you cannot teach them. Because they are dependent on their poverty. And they think that they're poor people of God. That they're poor people of God. Let me tell you, the poor will always be with you. Poor people who lack all these basic things, and poor people who lack knowledge. So most of the time when I talk about poverty, I don't mean lack of basic things. Poverty, lack of knowledge. So brothers and sisters, poor people who lack knowledge will always be with you. They will always be with you. So you have to clear your conscience. Don't follow the trend. Don't follow the trend. You know that quote used to say, in matters of style, flow with the current. But in matters of principles, stand like a rock. Stand like a rock. So conscience is numbed by repetition of error. Repetition of error. Today, I just saw a preacher in Kenya, Kilifi County. This preacher, we all know him. People were collecting dust where he was stepping and all that. Christians, we need to decolonize ourselves from this stupidity. We need to break free from this stupidity. Stop coming and telling me that you spoke in tongues. Stop telling me that. So read your Bible to understand what speaking in tongues was. Come on. Do you know what it meant by speaking in tongues? Study your Bible very well. These people spoke in different languages. The word tongues is not a spiritual language. The word tongues is not a spiritual language. It was a language that was known to people. So the biblical language, what it does, it expresses basically how can I put it? It expresses itself for you to understand how everything was meant to be perceived. So when the Bible says that speaking in tongues, in other words, it says speaking in languages. That is what you need to understand. So when the Bible tells you they spoke in tongues, it was not about riba shakataka, the riba shaba shaba rabaka, what they speak in churches. No, it was not about that. Study your Bible. Get into the book of Acts and study it. They spoke in languages that were well understood. And that is why in the book of Acts, there were these men who said, who are these that are speaking in Medes? Speaking in our own language. But your pastor and religion has told you, Riba Shakataka, it is a language that you speak to God so that God can hear you. Let me tell you, there is nothing like spiritual language. There is nothing like that. It does not exist. That is biblical error. That is biblical error. And religion will always blind you. There is nowhere you need to dress in a certain way to appear holy. There is nowhere. Those are religious protocols that these people introduced because it is big business for them. It is big business for them. So when your pastor tells you that you need to speak in tongues, don't speak in that tongue. No, it does not exist. I don't. Let me tell you, I used to be a youth preacher, but I broke out from that ideology. Why? I knew the truth. And when I stood with that truth, they even chased me away. Their Bible studies, they cannot allow me. Why? Because I'm telling the truth and I'm speaking the truth, and I will stand with that truth. And that is exactly happened to Jesus. He spoke the truth. Most of you want to be Christians, but you don't want to be like Christ. Yeah? You don't want to be like Christ. So clear your conscience. Clear your conscience so that you can begin to see realities of life. And that is why Paul talks about this thing also. You know, clearing our conscience and coming to the truth of the matter. So the loudest voice today is not truth, it is trend. We want to follow the trend. Most of you, you want to get married. You don't have wives. You don't have children. You want children. You don't have jobs. You want jobs. So your preachers will tell you, we need to pray for God to do. You don't need to pray. And I'm not saying prayer is bad, but you don't need to pray. You need to ask questions. Why am I not having a child? Could there be a complication? Do I need to see a doctor? Because the gift that a doctor holds also comes from God. Do I need a doctor? So if it is beyond a doctor, you need divine order. You need God to help you understand how everything is. So stop allowing yourself to languish in poverty, lack of knowledge. 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 2, Paul talks and says, their conscience is seared as with a branding iron. Most of our conscience has been seared. Do you know how you can brand a cow? Cow branding and all that? So your conscience has been seared, as with a branding iron. So whatever you want to think about, your conscience cannot allow you because it has blocked itself from the reality of how everything should be. So a dull conscience is the system's greatest victory. I repeat, a dull conscience is the system's greatest victory. So if your conscience is not clear, the governments and the systems of this world, religious institutions, government institutions, all political institutions, private institutions of this world, they will celebrate because they know they are dealing with people who don't want to think. If you are not awakened, that is where the systems, they will celebrate. Brothers and my sisters, this is a high time for us to awaken from this ideology of how the world functions so that we can begin to see ourselves structure a better way of becoming. Indeed, I'm telling you. So let me go to point number 7 as I conclude. I'm remaining with only 6 minutes. Point number 7 as I conclude. The system monetizes your gift but ignores your calling. The system monetizes your gift but ignores your calling. Do you know there are people who are good at real estates? Very good. That is a gift they have, but they don't understand their calling. They think their gift is their calling. Your gift is not your calling. So this is where we draw the line. Your skill becomes a product, and that is what the government will invest in. But your purpose remains neglected. So the question you should ask yourself, what is my purpose? For so many of us, we think that the gift we have or the skills we have is our purpose. No, the skill and the gift you have is to reveal the purpose the purpose as to why you exist in this world. But the problem is most of you are not willing to do so. You are not willing to do so. What you're chasing and what you're focusing on is your gift, but not purpose. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11, he has planted eternity in the human heart. He has planted eternity in the human heart. Just imagine, eternity is inside of you. You have to know that everything that you're looking for, do you know there are so many people, the wealthiest place in this world, the richest place in this world is in the graves. There are people that have died. The grave holds great wealth. Minds have died, great minds, we've lost them. The young people, the Gen Zs who fought the other day, those were great minds. And those were people that could even change the world. So what are you doing with yourself? Do you want to just live and die? Or I want to get married, do this, and then that's it? Where is the essence of you becoming? You need to prove yourself by understanding that the purpose of existing, it's all about being reasonable. The purpose of existing, it's all about being reasonable. Reasonable to the fact that you need to pursue the reality that is within you. The late Miles Monroe said one beautiful thing: when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. So when you don't know the purpose as to why you live, when you don't know the reason as to why you exist, oh, I'm telling you, my brothers, you will lose yourself in the process. You will not accomplish anything in this world. I'm telling you, you will not. Quite unfortunate. So remember this, brothers and sisters, even as we conclude, profit without purpose is emptiness in disguise. Promise or profit without purpose is emptiness in disguise. My brothers and my sisters, I didn't just come here on this platform to waste the 1 hour, 30 minutes. I know you have better things to do. I also have other things to do. But being passionate to teach these things, to reveal these things with intention and with purpose, is to ensure that we are going to be decolonized from, a culture that breaks our ability to become. And it is important that we do due diligence to have substance indeed. Seek for knowledge. Seek for knowledge, my dear brothers. Do what is considerable so that you can begin to see yourself have something. Chase value. Don't chase money. Chase value. Create value within yourself. That is what I can tell you, bro. My sister, there's so much within you. The mistakes that you have made, the issues that you've gone through, they do not define you. You've aborted 10 times in this life, 20 times. My brother, you've slept with 1,000 women. You've done all crazy things in this world. Let me tell you, you are not condemned. There is no condemnation. You are forgiven. And you don't look at yourself as unworthy. You are competent. You are full of energy and power to become a better person. And I want to assure you, my brother, where you're seated, whatever you're going through, even in that marriage, whatever you're facing, even in that marriage, I want to let you know, my brother and my sister, that there's a better way of becoming. That there's a better way of becoming. Don't look at yourself as nothing. So please, brothers and sisters, allow me to conclude by letting us know that we have power within of us, and we can achieve anything that we could ever ask for. So for those that are joining, even at this hour, we were talking about the inner dominion, conscience, power, and the rebellion against our programmed world. So please join me once again next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. East African time. I'll be here to have this conversation with me. If you really want to talk to me once again and have a conversation like this, please go to my website, www.salimcyrus.com, and there's a lot you can learn in that very platform. I just want to say thank you so much for joining, and I appreciate the fact that you took your time to just engage in this very beautiful conversation. Thank you, my brothers, and I want to say good night until next Tuesday, same time, same place. God bless you and good night.